Hey all, welcome to the Light Stand. Matthew 5:14, be the light in a dark world. And we have some very special guests for y'all today, man. This couple, how long have we known each other, man?
2015.
2015.
So, yeah.
So 9
Almost,
years.
yeah, 9 years, wow.
Woo. We're definitely editing that one out. We've known these
9
guys.
months.
We've known these guys for. We just ran into each other. We just ran into each other at the store.
I came to sell some soap, and you just let me in.
Yeah. Great soap. Nah, man. This couple right here, guys, they are awesome. They are doing some work with mentorship and helping trauma, mental health, marriages, you name it. They are doing some great things. As you know, we vet our guests, and we definitely believe that you all are in for a treat. So, without further ado, Moises and Brenda in the house. Let's go.
How's it going?
Welcome, guys. Welcome to the Light Stand, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you very much for having us. It looks like me selling you soap worked out. Okay. But I appreciate the compliment. That's not lost on us because, again, it's all God.
Amen.
I didn't grow up thinking that we were going to do this. It's not like we dreamed of, I'm going to help people with mental health. That's what I'm going to do.
Yeah.
I thought I was going to be a nurse.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
So that's what they call it. They call it a calling because it was very much him leading the whole way and telling us, like, yeah, that's where I want you.
Mm.
And you listen and you go.
Yes. You were obedient, so that's good.
Yep.
It's funny how blessing always follows obedience.
Mm.
Right?
Yep.
You plant the seed and it grows.
Yep.
And we're excited, man. We're so excited, guys. We were having an amazing conversation right now, which, by the way, Moises and Brenda brought us some Starbucks. Our guests, y'all, I mean, it's pretty much an expectation by now, guys. If y'all are going to come on the Light Stand, you better bring some. Un chicle. Chicharrón straight. Cacahuates, bring something. But these guys came through clutch.
I got a matcha. I've never tried it with, let me tell you.
Oh my gosh.
Matcha strawberry puree. It tastes amazing. I love matcha.
Does it?
Yes.
Because
So
I was
thank
like,
you guys.
how do you
You're
make
welcome.
this strawberry?
You're welcome.
Thank you, babe.
You're
for
welcome.
reccon.
You are so welcome.
Oh my God. Don't do that.
All right, guys. So, man, what an amazing conversation, guys. It was great catching up with you guys because we haven't seen you since, what did we say? Last year, right?
Yeah. Last
Yeah,
year.
but I don't think we got
Fall
to
last
talk
year?
that much.
Yeah,
No.
because it was just like, hey.
Very brief.
It was hi. Hi, your kiddos are big.
Yeah.
This is your new baby.
Yeah.
Okay, bye. Like it was because it was at a baby shower, right?
Yeah.
Shout out to Danny and Michelle.
Mm-hmm.
You guys make really cute babies too, so keep on doing the Lord's work. Keep on doing what y'all do. Nah, man, but we man, ever since we met you, dude, like I've always felt like there's like this kindred spirit, like I was saying, you know, out in the kitchen. I felt like we just really clicked. And you know, back in the so to give you guys a little bit of context, we met through a business. We were running a business together, like together but not together, like like we were different teams, to call it that, like business teams, but like same team.
Yeah.
Don't worry about understanding it.
Yeah.
We probably didn't even understand it either at the time. But just know that these guys are amazing people.
Yes.
They're awesome parents. They have an awesome marriage.
4 kids.
Four kiddos.
4 kiddos.
Teenage boy and 3 girls.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Under
Your guys'
30.
hands.
I know we're always talking about that. Like, his friends are barely starting to have kids.
Number
And we're
one.
like, we're done.
Yeah.
He's 30. We're done.
Yeah, that's
I'm not going to
awesome.
say how young I am, but older than
It's
him.
okay.
Like, we're done.
You look
You
amazing.
guys go ahead and start your kids.
Yeah.
You look amazing, so.
Thank you.
Yeah, y'all look great, man. So give us some so give us a story, guys. Like, we know who you are, but our listeners don't know who Moy and Brenda are. So wherever you guys want to start, man, tell us your story.
How'd you guys meet?
meat.
Here we go.
Well, I don't even know if you guys know.
I don't think
kind
so.
of, maybe.
Maybe.
We probably touched on it, but we only told the positive stuff.
Have we?
Do you want to go, or do you want me to go? Do you want me to tell?
You're part of the story.
The unfiltered, raw version.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Well, we met in college.
Mm-hmm.
What college?
No names.
EPCC.
Okay.
It's okay.
Yeah, we met
The best college in the world.
in community college.
Nice.
Moises was very young.
19.
Nice.
19.
Yeah, and I was 25. But he thought that I was, I don't know,
19. Let me.
a high
I
schooler.
thought she was 18. Because in my high school, so she went to school wearing scrubs.
Okay.
And in my high school, a lot of girls went to school wearing scrubs because there was like a medical program.
Gotcha.
So I was used to that. I was like, oh, this is an early college student.
And he had no idea that I was 25. I had a 3-year-old little boy.
Mm-hmm.
I was a medical assistant and trying to go to school for nursing.
Oh, nice.
But he was like, "Oh, it's a high schooler." So
I thought she was younger than me. Yeah.
yeah,
Aw.
yeah. He embarrassed me in front of the whole class.
Why?
Oh yeah, you did.
Do tell.
Yeah. So
Well, you're skipping ahead
why?
because now you're telling about how
How you embarrassed me?
how I embarrassed myself.
It's okay.
It's because you know how you used to tell your story, how you met like the light coming down and
Oh, yeah.
that's how it was with
He
her.
related all the time.
It was the second day of class, and I already sat next to her the first day, but I had never seen her face. Up to this point, I don't know who she is. I just think that she's just another high school student or early college student.
Mm-hmm.
The second day, I didn't have my book yet because I was living off of FAFSA.
Okay.
Nice.
Financial aid, and
He was like, "I ain't spending no money on those
spending
books."
no money getting books.
Those books are expensive. Let me tell you.
So I found free resources.
Nice.
And didn't think that it was going to be her, but
And I was very new to going to college. Like, I had no idea what I was doing. I was like, okay, I gotta get a book. I'm supposed to get a book. So
Yeah.
I got the book.
Right.
and the teacher told us like, okay, we'll take out your books. You don't have one group together,
Mm-hmm.
and that's where I turned to her. I look at her face, and that's when like it kind of slow-mo, like it's like she was whipping her hair and everything.
Aww.
Turned to look at me, and I was trying to say like, hey, well, you have a book, let's partner up. What came out, because like she has colored eyes.
Mhm.
She's very beautiful. And
I wasn't
what came
wearing
out-
glasses, so
Yeah.
you could see my eyes.
Aww.
What came out was like, and she was like, what?
Literally, that's what came out.
And she was like,
Mumbles.
And I was like, what?
what? And I couldn't say anything else, and I was pointing at the book.
Oh.
Book.
Man, together now.
You and me.
That was
Now.
our first interaction.
Oh.
And yeah, ever since, now you can go ahead. Now we're caught up to your timeline of the story.
Press play.
I have no idea what I was saying.
About how embarrassed you in class.
Oh, yeah, he did embarrass me. So we would partner up every time from then on.
Yeah.
Even when they would put us in groups, we would always be in the same group.
Oh, nice.
And then, I don't know what class it was, but the teacher was like, get to know each other, so ask each other questions. So everybody's like, my name is this, I do this. Then it's my turn, and I'm like, yeah, I'm Brenda, I'm 25, I have a 3-year-old. And then he's like, you're 25? And then he said, shut the... And like loud in the classroom. And I was like...
Everybody turned around.
Everybody, like literally, like everybody was like... I was like,
Oh my god.
and he still didn't believe me. So I had to take out my driver's license and be like,
wow. Look.
I'm
Wow.
20.
So what you're saying is you could buy me beer. That's all Moy heard. That I got you. Okay. I see what happened.
Wow.
And I was like...
Hey, that's awesome though, because you didn't look your age. You
Yeah.
didn't look like a mom, so
To this day, she doesn't.
yeah.
He, I'm like, he says, but yeah. And then we just, I don't know, like, it's funny because I actually gave him my number without him asking.
Ooh.
And not in class, but it was through Instagram or Twitter or something.
No, Instagram.
Instagram.
Nice.
He had posted some pictures. I was being a total stalker, like, and I have no idea why. Listen, like, I had a little boy. I was going to school. I was working. I was having baby daddy drama. And I was like, I'm not looking for anything. Like, I do not want a relationship. I need to focus on my future for my child. Right? Because I was like, who's going to do it? Nobody but me. So when I met him, I was like, doesn't matter.
Yeah, it was crazy how neither of us had the intention of dating at all. Like, I wasn't, as soon as I learned that she had a kid, and I didn't know what the relationship was with, I assumed like, okay, well, then you have a partner then. So I was like, okay, well, I'm not going to pursue this further. And I didn't. And it was just, I think it was just over the course of just being around each other so much because of class that it naturally progressed. Well, I mean, she had to pursue me because I wasn't. So when she pursued me, I was like, okay, you give me the green light. You gave me the green light that you're okay, that there's nothing going on. So
Oh.
No, but it was funny because there was another guy who was like messaging me and like, hey, and this and that, but he had a girlfriend.
Oh,
like,
goodness.
What is wrong with this dude?
Red flag number one.
Yeah, and I was like, and then there's like, he sat on this side, and then Moises sat on this side.
Okay.
And then he was like, I would talk to him and be like, hey, how's your weekend? He'd be like, good.
I had very bad.
I love your
anxiety
shirt.
when she
And
would
he'll be
talk to
like,
me.
thanks. And I'm like,
What's up with him?
okay. I was like, man.
Very short.
I was like, these kids are weird.
It's early.
These
Like,
children.
I was like, I'm just wasting my time. Like, let me just pay attention to the teacher. And just, I don't know, like, I looked him up. I didn't know his name for the longest time, maybe like 3 months.
Oh, wow.
Even though we like would always
same
share a
class.
book.
Wow.
I already knew her life story and everything.
Wow.
I'm kidding.
I had no idea like his name, but I looked him up, and then I saw a picture, and then he was like the picture, and I was like, what if I don't like it? And he was like, just like it. He was like doing some kind of contest or something, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I was like, fine, I'll like it, but I don't really like the pancakes you made. But here's my number.
Yeah.
Ándale.
Nice. Okay.
Got her with
Wow.
pancakes that are not even for her.
Listen up, boys. Learn how to cook. We're giving y'all gold here, man. Take notes. Okay.
But yeah, our relationship started just over the fact. Again, I think it was very much God's intervention. Because again, we were not even pursuing each other. I wasn't looking for a relationship. She wasn't looking for one. It was just like,
Yeah, and
it was God
because
saying,
I was
Ken and Barbie, like, you two belong together. I'm kidding.
because I was older, I had already had relationships, and it's like, I'm gonna tell you guys a story.
Yes.
It's funny because I think like it was a year before I met him. I was still with my son's dad, but it was like very toxic relationship. And I'm not gonna say it was him; it was probably me. But I had a dream. There was just a random night. I had a dream about a guy that I was in love with, and it wasn't him. And I was like, and I woke up and I was like, who is, like, what is this? Like, this is what, because it felt so real. And I was like, I was so in love, and like we were having dinner, and I couldn't see his face. I like the face was not there, but the feeling of love and like I just love this man so much was there.
Wow.
And I was like, who is this person? Because it's not my baby daddy. Like,
Yeah.
not for sure him. And I was like, okay, whatever. Fast forward to like months after we were dating, right? It came to me and I was like, it's you. I told him like literally, it's you. And he was like, what? He was like so confused, and I knew. I was like, it's you. He had no idea what I was talking about, but I knew.
Wow.
She's downplaying that moment because she scared the living bejesus out of me.
Why? Did she eventually tell you about the dream, or?
Yeah, she told me that day, but it was very quiet. We were watching a movie, and it was very dark. Were we watching a scary movie?
I don't know.
But we were in the sofa just watching the movie, and she just goes like, "It's you!" Like all of a sudden,
Wow.
like loud.
So
Like,
weird
what?
how
It just came to
What's
you.
going on? What am I?
yeah, like it was so. I know it was. I don't know why. Like it. I think that feeling was coming in. That same feeling in my dream that I was like, "It's you," and he was like, "What?"
Wow.
But that I knew it was him.
Mm-hmm.
But I was like fighting it.
Mm.
And it's funny because we always say like, oh, we prayed for each other.
Yeah.
So growing up, I grew up with my grandmother, my dad's mom. And she was like my safe person, right? Like she was my safe person. And she never taught me how to be a Christian. She taught me how to have a relationship with Jesus.
Mm.
She was a Christian, and she would take me to church with her. My mom and my dad were like, I don't know, you call them seasonal Catholics. So they didn't really go to church, but they weren't Christian, but it didn't so my grandmother, she taught me to have a relationship, right? So she taught me how to pray whenever you feel some type of way, you need gratitude, whatever, you talk to him. So one night when I was already so frustrated, I was like, these men in my life, like, what am I doing? Like, I can't trust any man because, my childhood traumas or, these relationships that I've had that have not worked out. Now I have a kid who technically has a father, but is not the best father figure he could be. I was praying, like I was in bed and I was praying. I was like, God, I just need somebody to help me be better. I want to be better. Because at the time, like, I was with my son, but I was out drinking, like every weekend, right? Like every weekend I would go out drinking. I was very responsible during the week, but on the weekends it was like
YOLO.
Like teenage Brenda is revealed because my teenage years were like not that crazy. Maybe they were, but I was out drinking. I was like, this can't be it, right? And I was like, please, like, God, just send, like, I need a man. Like, I need a man to help me be better. I didn't pray for like a tall, like handsome, like
six-pack, jabroni.
I didn't go. I needed somebody to help me better. And I mean, I don't even want to know what he prayed for, but it was like green eyes and
Aww.
But then like he showed up.
Wow.
And I still didn't know that that's who God sent to me. I still was in denial. I was in denial that he had sent me the man that I asked for because he was so perfect. And I was so afraid that God was gonna punish me.
Wow.
I was so afraid. I was like, he's sending me this perfect man because this perfect man is gonna break my heart. This perfect man is probably gonna make my life miserable.
Oh, wow.
Like, he's gonna do everything to me that I probably did to like my other relationship.
Wow.
I was so scared.
Who's this man you're talking about?
You.
It's you.
It's you.
Wow.
Did you ever feel that you were undeserving of
All
that
the
love?
time.
Yeah.
All the time. I told him. I mean, he'd probably tell you the story of when I was like, you should go with other girls. But all the time, I was like, I don't deserve this guy for sure. Like, there is no way. Like, there is no way I deserve this guy. I was like, God is just trying to punish me here. I don't know, I'm scared.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, we we described our first few years of our relationship as our toughest years.
Yeah.
Because when she said that she put me through the ringer, she put me through the ringer.
Yeah.
And I've only had 3 serious relationships. This one being my third and last one. So I've always been a very loyal guy. When it came to taking relationship serious. And I was never one to break things off or anything like that. It was always like, let's work it out or what's going on. But this relation, at least at the beginning, it put me so much to a test what I was considering. And I prayed about it too. Like, God, give me a sign if I'm supposed to be with this woman or not. No, what I exactly prayed for was, God, give me a sign that I'm not supposed to be here.
Wow.
And that's one of the prayers that he didn't answer.
Wow.
Because he never gave me signs. But yeah, our first few years were very tough. The moment that she's talking about was we were planning to move in already. We were about to a year and a half together, no? Yeah, because it was...
Who knows?
Yeah, it was 2015 when we moved in together.
Okay.
But the December before, or somewhere in that winter 2014, I went over to her house. I don't know where this came from. And she had told me a couple of times, so I guess I kind of know. But that moment, she had like a breakdown that I don't deserve you. You should go see other girls, and I'll wait for you once you turn 25.
Wow.
And I'm like,
Art's like, what?
Whoa.
yeah. I'm like, but I want you. I want to stay with you. I don't need to go.
And the other girl.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That lasted for 2 minutes because she broke up with me, and then she called me like, no, I need you back. I want you back.
Oh, wow.
I can't live without you.
My whole thing, because I was so scared. Like, I was so scared that he was going to break my heart for sure. So I was like, okay, let me just allow it so that he doesn't, like, break my heart.
She wanted to already have it to happen, I guess.
Yeah, I was like, let's get it over with, and then we'll be okay.
Wow.
So I was like, because he was so young, he was 19. I mean, he was already 20.
Yeah.
When we were going to move in together, he was 20, but that's still pretty young.
Yeah.
And then him saying, like, I'm like his third relationship. I'm like, dude.
I mean, other things as well, because throughout that year before we even moved in together, I kind of told her, like, you can't be drinking every weekend. Like, you're a mother.
Wow.
So I had those tough conversations with her as a 19-year-old trying to lead a 26-year-old woman.
Dang. That's crazy how they say that age is just a number. Like,
yeah.
And I had, like, people in my life be like, it's never going to work out. He's too young. He's probably very immature. Like, he's barely growing up. And I was like, you don't know him. Like, he tells me things that... Because I grew up with very macho dad and very macho, like, uncles. Right? My grandpa was... And it was like, you never let a man tell you what to do. Don't ever, like, let a man tell you what to do.
Yeah.
So that's how all my relations were. Like, you're going to tell me what to do? And then here comes a 19-year-old, like, telling me, hey, you shouldn't be drinking. Because he didn't really drink. Like, yeah, he did go out partying with his friends, but he wasn't one of those, like, drinkers or, like, doing drugs and stuff. So he's like, you shouldn't be drinking. You have your little boy. Right? And I'm like, excuse me? Like,
Wow.
bro.
Yeah, she snapped at me that day.
Yeah. It's like, you're not going to tell me what to do. Or, like, you shouldn't dress like that because...
Oh, yeah.
You're not going to tell me what to wear or not wear. Right? And I was like... This is like this boy is telling me what to do, and then I don't know. I was like, okay, I guess he's right.
Oh.
He just puts it in a way where it's like, okay, it makes you think.
Right.
And it's funny because that started even before we started dating. Like when we were in school, since we always be together, she would always copy my work.
Nice.
So one time I was like, "You do it this time.
Well,
you go do it, and then I copy from you."
I think that's what got me. Yeah, thinking about it, I think that's what got me because like I hated that class.
Right.
I hated that class so much, and then he was so good at it. So I was like, huh. I was like, I need to pass this class because I want to be a nurse. So can't just,
I have to.
like.
Yeah.
So one time he was just like, I was like, okay, like let's do it together. And then he's like, no, you're doing that.
Oof.
And I was like, so I went home and I was there reading and doing the work. I was like, I can't believe this guy told me what to do. With Abel running around like, I have to do homework.
Man.
And it's funny because like, I think even till this day, like my family, because they're still very macho, they think that I tell them what to do. They don't understand, but they think that like I literally have them wrapped around my finger.
Wow.
And I'm like, you couldn't be any more wrong, guys.
Yeah.
You keep thinking that way.
Yeah.
It's not like that. He didn't even go get me fries when I asked for them.
What are your favorite fries? What's your go-to?
The McDonald's fries.
Nice. Okay.
When those are, like fresh out of the, wherever they cook them.
Yeah,
fryer?
because when I was pregnant, I was always like, can you go get me fries? And he'd be like, no. Like one time I wanted strawberries really, really bad. And I think it took him like 2 weeks, right?
Me? To get your strawberries?
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah, like he wasn't one of those like, okay, baby, let me go get your strawberries. Like 2 weeks later, I was there like sobbing because I got strawberries.
Wow.
Yeah, so he's not one of those that.
I didn't just go to the store, babe. I freaking planted these things, and I waited for them to grow.
I picked them.
And I picked them from the ground. That's why it took me 2 weeks.
So long. So like,
wow.
I don't know.
Very opposite from your other relationships.
And then him being young, it's like, it's weird, right? Like, I don't know. Just people would tell me, like, it's not going to work out. It's never going to last. And I'd be like, okay.
Those naysayers.
But then there was people that were like, give him a chance. Well, one person was like, give him a chance.
One person in God, and that's it.
Hey.
That's all I need.
Look
God was like, you don't
you guys
listen.
know.
I sent you this guy you wanted.
Boom.
I mean, there's so much. It's just, I'm telling you.
Yeah, we have 11 years of relationships.
Yeah, but the
Bunch of stories in between there.
Oh.
Yeah, I put him through a lot. Like, one time I dressed up. Again, me, like, he's too perfect.
She wanted to find out if I would cheat.
So he got invited to a party. Obviously, he's going to bring his girlfriend, but I was like, I can't go. The party was like the same, like down the block. And it's like, oh, I can't go. I don't have a babysitter. So I went, I dyed my hair.
No, Brenda.
My hair was this long. I got extensions.
No.
I was like, I'm going to show up with different hair because it was like a dress up party or something.
Risky business.
Yeah, so I was like, glasses at night. Okay, glasses. And I'm going to go and kiss him and see what he does. And I had a friend, like, she was like, yeah, let's do it. I was like, oh, yeah. So I did.
Alcahueta. If you don't have alcahueta friends, you don't have real friends, bro. Just kidding.
And she's like, yeah, let's do it. Just helping me. So then he went to the party and I showed up. And I immediately went and I, like, tried to kiss him. And he's like, what are you doing?
Wow, he didn't recognize you.
Oh, and I just hugged him. I was like, it's me.
And then he was the one that was like, it's you.
Did you recognize her, or you were like,
what was
caught
your
off guard?
reaction?
I was looking away because we were playing water pong.
Gotcha.
We were playing water pong, so I was looking this way. She came kind of from the side or from behind, kind of. And I just feel someone tugging my face towards them. And my immediate reaction was like, what are you doing?
Right.
And I turned to her and I recognized her. She's just with red hair. And I was like,
kind of like now.
I was surprised. I was happy that she was there. Like, oh, look, you made it out. And then come to find out, oh yeah, I was just trying to.
That you passed the test.
Oh, wow.
Nice.
Good thing I passed. But yeah.
But it's crazy, Brenda. I'm hearing you tell these stories, and it's so crazy that, I mean, now we know what it is because of our past, your past. You know, you thought that you were undeserving of that love, of that true love. And because of your past experiences, you would kind of like, what's that word? I said it once. Kind of try to prove in your head, like, oh, this isn't going to work out.
Rationalize?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like it's...
Justify?
No, there's another word. I'll think of it right now. Pero you were trying to make things happen so that, oh, you know what? It's not going to work out.
Sabotage. Like I was...
Sabotage.
Like, yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yes.
Everything possible to be like, nope.
Yeah.
Nope.
To prove yourself right.
Yeah. Yeah. Like there's no way there could be such a perfect man for me.
Exactly.
Like there's no way.
And I relate to you with so much. Like I would do, I mean, different ways, but I would try to sabotage him too. Art. And I would be like, why do I keep doing this? But next weekend, I would do the same thing. Do little things to piss him off or, okay, yeah, he's mad at me now. Now I have a reason. You know what I mean? Yeah, so I get you.
Like how people make videos of the woman asking, like, would you love me if I was a worm? Or would you love me if I was whatever? Or like, what are you trying to get?
Huh?
What if I said no? Would we fight? Would this turn into a fight?
Like, well, if you were a worm, babe.
I think that's against God. That's
kind of weird. Like, yo, I met this
but
worm,
it's me,
though.
babe. But it's me.
Yeah, met this grub.
Oh my God.
This caterpillar. Dang.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, no.
The way she wiggles.
The way she munched on that leaf. Yeah, that'd be kind of man, dude. But you know what? I want to slow down a little bit.
Yeah.
And if we can dive into that, because I think a lot of women or people can relate to you, but they don't understand why. And my mom says it all the time. No, hombre, a veces las mujeres ni nos entendemos nosotras mismas. In English, it's sometimes us women don't understand ourselves. Like we don't even get ourselves. Which is, God is so wise, man. That's probably why the Bible says, love women with all your heart. Just like he didn't say understand women. It's very clear, guys. Love your woman.
I tell her all the time. She has a bunch of cups, and then she tells me like, "Babe, I think I need another cup." I'm like,
the Starbucks cups or just cups?
Just
over?
cups, like water cups. Like
okay.
A water, like she has that cup right there. There's a
Different
water cup.
sizes,
right? Different.
You know how
colors
the Stanley Cup was very big, like recently, and it was mainly women. And I'm like, I understand. I love you. But yeah, to like you mentioned, to dive a little bit deeper. Where's it gonna go? Kind of lost my train of thought.
I don't know, but he knows why. I did all that.
Yeah, there was a lot of times where she would expect something from me, and I had no idea. And for years, I was like, I don't understand, and things like that, until I took that healing journey that I mentioned back in 2021 of understanding myself. That I started being curious about my wife, like, oh, if I was affected by my past, maybe she was affected by her past, and that's why that's the way that she is.
Wow.
So I started noticing that she's rejecting my love, that she's rejecting the attention that I was giving her.
Hold on. We're going. This is too good, and we gotta just walk through this real good, man. This is gold right now. Okay. So you guys are dating, and how long did you guys date before you proposed?
I proposed 2016. April? Yeah, April 2016.
You guys started dating in 2014?
We started dating spring of 2013. So 6 years, 3 years.
You dated 3 years, and then you guys decided to make it official. Okay.
Got engaged 2016, married 2017.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
Nice.
So you guys were dating for 3 years, and then you finally, okay, she's the one, he's the one. Let's make it official. You proposed, Moy?
Mhm.
Okay. So, but before then, you were touching on a very important point. You were like, man, this guy's too perfect. I don't deserve him. Or I was afraid that God was going to punish me, or that he is going to punish me, or something along those lines.
Mm-hmm.
Where, knowing what you know now, because
Mhm.
it sounds like you're trauma informed now, and you guys have been taking the healing journey, which we'll touch base on. Why do you think you felt that way, Brenda? Where does that come from?
It comes from. You ready?
Yes, please.
And disclaimer, you can share as much or as little as you want.
No, it's my duty to share, but just be aware, guys. It comes from me being abused as a little girl, like I was mentioning, by my older brother. My parents still don't know. The only people that know is him and like my sister. So it was that, and then growing up with my dad, who is an alcoholic still, unfortunately. Very macho, right? So learning that as you're growing up, like you are worth nothing to somebody. Kind of a thing, right? Because for my brother to do that to me, it had to mean like he didn't see me as his sister. And my brother passed away. He was killed in Mexico, I think.
4 years ago? 5?
Yeah, like a few years ago. But we're not from the same dad. And I think I try to justify, like, well, he probably was confused because he was a teenager. I was a little girl. And him finding out, oh, this is not my dad. Right? So then I had to go through that whole thing. Okay, well, then growing up and feeling like, well, somebody did this to me. My dad didn't teach me to love myself. Because I had to say hi to everybody. Like, everybody was an uncle, right? So exposing your little girl to like all these men that you guys are there drinking and stuff like that. Then my parents separated. Then I was left with my mom, who had to work 2 jobs. I had to take care of my little sister, so I was left alone with her a lot. So just being exposed to really bad environments.
Yeah.
So I was exposed to like being abused by men as I kept growing and as I kept being a teenager. And then I go into my own relationships where I let men do whatever they want with me because that's what I know. Right? That's what I know. Like, I'm worth nothing. You do what you want.
Wow.
Just take care of me. Just make sure that nobody else does this to me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like, I'm going into these relationships for safety. So then every man I meet is like, I'll take care of you, but you do what I say. Even though I was like, don't ever let a man tell you what to do. But then I'm like, well, this man is keeping me safe from the other men. You know what I mean? So then I grew up thinking I was worth nothing. Like, I'm worthless. Like, I don't deserve a good man.
Wow.
Sorry, guys.
No, don't be sorry.
I'm saying sorry because I don't want to make her cry.
No, it's okay.
I cry all the time. Like,
It's okay. No, yeah.
It's
Know that there's a safe space here, and I mean, whatever emotion comes, just go through it.
Thank you. So then meeting him and like I'm like, no, there's no way. There's no way. There's no way because I'm worth nothing. And even though it's so funny, like me saying like, I know God loves me. I didn't believe it.
In a way, sorry to interrupt.
No, go ahead.
In a way, the things that she put me through, yeah, in a sense, it was for her to test out, like, okay, is this guy real? But I think also at a deeper level, it was her trying to find out, I need to get back to those people who used to mistreat me. I need you to treat me that way. So I'm going to do everything. I'm going to behave in a way where I'm going to get that reaction out of you.
That behavior.
Yeah. And I did it. There was, a point in time where she was very inebriated, influenced by alcohol. And she wanted to get frisky. But I was like, no, like, we're not. Like, again, go into that behavior so that I can treat her in that form. But I was like, no.
Yeah.
Like, I love you too much. I respect you too much to even think about doing that to you. So I know you don't like it right now. But,
well,
yeah, it's not going to happen.
Wow. And I mean, that right there, were you like, dang, like any other guy would have been like, me voy a aprovechar.
And I was like, no, there's no way. I gotta break this guy somehow.
Yeah.
And it was like a mission. Like,
right.
I need to break this guy somehow. Like, there's no way he's so perfect.
Right.
And obviously he's not perfect, right? He's not perfect, but he was like not the usual. So I was like, nuh-uh.
Yeah.
I'm gonna stay till you break.
Wow.
And then me finding out that he wanted to break up with me, I was like, how dare you?
Yeah.
Wow.
I get you.
Man, thank you so much for sharing that.
Yes.
Brenda, that's
You're
super
welcome.
vulnerability is a superpower, dude, for reals. I heard that. Shout out Tim. Yeah, he's never going to listen to this, but
Never say never.
Yeah.
It's so true. Like, once it's said, I can't unhear that, because it takes so much courage, dude, and so much bravery and so much to be as transparent and as vulnerable as that. But I can promise you, dude, like, there are so many people that would hear that and be healed, and at least you're helping more people than you know.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, and that's why I said it's a duty, because like, I know that people need, because me hearing things from other people is what helped me heal. So it's like, there's no way I could just be quiet.
Right.
Like, there's no way.
Yeah, because how many years? 8 years into our relationship, that's when you finally told me. So 8 years into our relationship, after multiple kids, after getting married legally and then married through the church, until I worked on myself, of course. That's when she finally started opening up and working on herself as well. But if it wasn't because of that, it could have been 20, 30 years, 40, probably, until she could have taken it to the grave.
Wow.
And a lot of people do that. A lot of people live that way.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And there's a saying, I can't quote it verbatim right now, but it's things that stay in the dark, like, things have power until they're brought out into the light. And then once it's out there, and once it's just out in the light now, it loses its power. It loses its hold against you, and something that the enemy will use as a weapon against you, to shame you and to make you feel unworthy and to make you feel undeserving and unloved, etc. It loses its hold against you, and what the enemy meant for evil, God will use it for good.
It's going to be one of your biggest victories.
Right. I'm going to see a victory, for the battle belongs to you, Lord. Yeah, and it's true. And that's what the song says. You take what the enemy meant for evil and you turn it for good. Right?
Encore.
I love
that
song. So thank you for sharing that, Brenda. Thank you for being transparent. So, which begs the question: you started this healing journey in 2021. You said, did you? First of all, how did you become aware that you needed healing in the first place? Because that's not general knowledge. Like Natalie and I didn't learn about trauma and, needing therapy and, mental health and stuff till just a couple years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And we're in our mid 30s, as much as Nat doesn't want to admit.
Close to 40s.
I'm mid 30s forever.
Okay.
So we just learned about that, and we're still learning.
Yeah.
So how did that come to pass? And the reason I want to touch on this so big is because I think a lot of couples would benefit from going through a healing journey like that.
Yeah, even if they're just in relationship, like not even marriage, like it's just relationship. But how I came across to it, I think it had to do with the type of person that I was. I was very, very studious of like people, I guess. I was very curious, like what makes people do what they do. However, I wasn't as serious as I am now about that. Back then, it was still very much, I was still going through the motions that everybody goes through, which is find a way to make a lot of money to get the life that you want. So I was very much focused on that. However, I was aware that growing up without a father affected me a certain way. I just didn't know how or how to like figure out how it affected me. And I very much lived in disbelief that I was even affected, just over the fact that compared to my father, I still married. My kids still see me. So technically, by external terms, me growing up without a father didn't affect me. But it did very much. How I got to the point where I finally was able to focus on it and do a deep dive was when I heard that, like, hey, yeah, you can read all these books. However, if you're still dealing with something inside, like they're going to be just covers.
Yeah.
You're just covering up. It's going back to the analogy that you mentioned, that what you keep in the dark, right? It's like weeds. Like weeds, if you just chop them up, they're going to come back the next day. They're still going to grow. It's until you unroot them from the root that they're going to stop growing. And it's the same thing with your past, with your traumas, with anything that is affecting your life in a negative way, right? Those are weeds. There are flowers in there, of course. It's the weeds that we don't want to address. And if you don't leave them addressed, they're going to grow.
Yeah.
And where we live, there's a bunch of weeds. I remember one summer, our neighbors, because it was kind of abandoned a bit, or just not taken care of properly. And yes, es terreno, there's territory. And it was a forest, it was a jungle of weeds.
Wow.
And to me, like, yeah, that's the perfect example that when you leave the weeds unattended, quote unquote, the trauma, it's going to show up some way, shape, or form. And it shows up in ways that you don't even know. Like I was surprised to how it affected me so much, the way that I grew up without a father.
Wow.
It affected me to the point where I developed a porn addiction. And I was very much a people pleaser because I didn't grow up without a father. I looked for that male guidance, and again, kind of same relationship with that she had with men just continued to fail me. And I got to the point of like, I'm just tired. And luckily during that time, that's when God came to me and I was like, you're it. I don't want nobody else to lead me unless you send them my way. But it's you. Like,
wow.
There's this song, a Christian song that describes me. Kind of, I relate a lot to it because it says, I was just another angry kid growing up without a dad. So I sold my soul to the highest bid to get the love I never had.
Wow.
And it also says, what does it say? I'm trying to go through the lyrics in my head.
He's like singing the song.
In the journey to trying to find myself, I confine myself. And something about searching for someone, but it was always him. It was always God.
Wow.
To your guys' surprise, is actually a heavy metal Christian band.
So, oh wow!
It's like,
who is it? Skillet?
No, it's they're called For Today,
Oh, okay.
and the song is called Fatherless.
Oh, wow.
And I related a lot to that song. I'm like, wow,
Dang.
that's what I was. I was just another angry kid. Yeah, and when I heard like, hey, maybe you're still holding on to some stuff, and I was like, okay, well, what am I holding on to?
Mm-hmm.
And it was that moment of, because I lived that moment. I remembered that moment. That was like one of my first memories.
Mm-hmm.
Was the last time that I saw my dad. I can picture it clearly to this day.
Wow.
We were living in an apartment close in front of Bowie High School. And he came to the house. I went out. My mom was there. She was trying to like, you're not coming in. My dad was asking me for a glass of water. My mom told me, okay, go get him a glass of water. I went, get the glass of water, gave it to him.
Mm-hmm.
He gave me a hug, and my mom told me to go back inside, and that was it. Never seen him again.
That was the last time you saw him?
Yeah.
Wow. How old were you?
4.
Wow.
I was 4 years old. And it's not like I cried for my dad or anything like that. I was just like, okay, well, he's not here. Why? Why is he not here? What happened?
Yeah.
And I asked my mom those questions, and she told me like, oh, well, this happened and this other thing happened.
Mm-hmm.
Come to find out now, stepping into a relationship and being a father myself, a stepdad at that, that's when a lot of those things came out. One of the biggest reasons why I wanted to be in a relationship with her is because she was a single mom. I grew up with a single mom.
Oh, wow.
Excuse me. So me wanting to protect my own mother, right, at the time, because now technically I'm the man of the house, falling in love with another woman who's a single mom, I was like, okay, well, I can't let that happen.
Wow.
And even seeing myself on our son as well at the time that he was 3, I saw little me. I didn't know that, but
yeah. Wow.
Subconsciously, like it's programming that it's just instilled there.
Wow.
And yeah, I failed a lot as a stepdad. I did my best, but that's where those traumas from growing up with a dad came out, in our relationship and me raising a kid. And it got to a point where I was like, I'm just tired of attending all these events, telling me what to do to be a better man, and I'm still depressed. I'm still anxious. I'm still dealing with a porn addiction and everything.
Yeah.
And I finally, okay, well, let me go ahead and do a deep dive. Come to find out, yep, growing up without a father affected me more than I thought. It affected me, the finances, my belief and everything, the people who I allowed to lead me, and me being a yes man to a lot of people. And it got to a point of like, okay, well, now it's only you. I'm a yes man for you. Whatever you need, I'm here. And yeah.
Well, it's crazy how listening to you, it's crazy to think how our brain protects us from certain events, that we grew up going through, and you block those things.
Yep.
Those traumatic events, and your brain like puts them back, and then certain things eventually come to light or trigger you, and you're like, wait, where did that come from? But yeah, right on the nail. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's that's where I learned, like, okay, what triggers me? I stopped being critical of myself, because for the longest time I was like, why am I not doing what these books are telling me to do? Why am I not doing what the events are telling me to do? My mentors, quote unquote. So I was asking why from a critical standpoint, and I started asking why from a curious standpoint. Like, why am I addicted to pornography? Like, it's not like I was born with it. I like to think that we all come into this world as fertile ground, and then the world throws its seeds at us, and whatever people keep watering in our lives, that's what grows.
Right.
Wow.
So I had to, again, going back to the analogy, go back to cut the weeds out. And through that process, some people were lost along the way, because they were not watering the fertile ground that needed to be watered.
Yeah.
Some people came into my life where they were good. But yeah.
I relate to what you're saying, Moy, a lot. Well, if you've been a long listener of The Lights, then you know the story. But I grew up with my father, but he wasn't like a father, you know, just present, just there, like paying the bills. But never like a great relationship, you know, never had the talk, never took an interest in my life of like, hey, like, so what do you like, man? Like, who's your best friend? What's your favorite color? What music are you into? You know, like, let me go to your games. Right? Which I now know is why I developed the personality that I developed. I was seeking attention. I was seeking validation from external sources that should have came from my father. But I had no identity. So I was forming an identity by, if I can make people laugh, people will like me and they'll tell me good job and they'll tell me attaboy. And I don't know if you remember, babe, but when I discovered this, it was so upsetting to me at the moment. And it took me like probably 2 weeks to process how upset I was, because it made me realize that for years, building the business, I wasn't doing activities to grow my company. I was doing them for attaboys.
Yep. People pleasing. Yeah.
People pleasing.
Yeah.
I was bona fide, certified people pleaser. And I was just looking for validation.
Yep.
And I was like, dang, like it was infuriating, to be honest, because I'm like, are you kidding me, bro? Like,
it was a hard pill to swallow.
It was a hard pill to swallow, because I'm like, dang, man, like this whole time, you know, I was lying to myself, and I was lying to Natalie, because like, oh yeah, I'm going to go, you know, meet 5 new potential customers or 5 new potential business partners. And no, like, I would get phone numbers, but it was just for like, oh, attaboy, you know, just so I can say I did it. And just so I can get that pat on the back from the people that I was respecting at the time.
Yep. And,
you know, but it is what it is. Like, it's just part of your story, right? Yeah. So anyhow, man, thank you for sharing that.
Of course.
So how did you, so you said you got into that from a curious, you stopped being critical and you started being curious. And one of our best friends, shout out Lily, she says that all the time, like, be kind to my friend, speaking to us, and be curious, you know, and yeah. So from that curiosity, how did you come to start studying the things that you started studying? How did you come to those sources? Did you take classes? Did you hit up a psychologist or a psychiatrist or counselor, whatever? Like, walk us through that.
I just started hearing from a lot of people, because from our history in the business, it's also always been a trauma from there, I guess. Is if you only focus on one source for information, then you're limited to everything else.
Right.
And that's what I found out, that we were I was so focused on only getting information from here.
One source.
And once I started getting information from everywhere else, I was like, whoa, what is this entire world that this little thing can benefit from?
Yeah.
So I started listening to anything. I didn't just pick one. I didn't do the mistake of picking another man to listen to. I was like, okay, I'm going to listen to you, but I'm also going to listen to you. And I'm going to take what I need that I believe is true. I'm going to check with God. And if he okays it, then okay.
Wow.
So it wasn't just one person. It was psychologists. It was just coaches, mentors who have practice in the psychological field and everything, reading books as well. So it was just an influx of information from different sources where I was like, okay, well, where can I tie this in? Where can I structure it to where it applies to my life? So let me practice it myself. And then I'll discuss it with my wife, because it wasn't something like, hey, babe, come heal. It's never that. It's never like, I never approached her like, let's go to therapy or hey, do this, do that. It was very much through conversation, just deep conversations with each other.
Being curious.
Me being curious, me being vulnerable with her, which allowed her to be vulnerable with me.
That's good.
And that's when I kind of, I guess, started practicing what I do now. She was my first client and my hardest one, because you know how it is, very hard to get your wife to listen to you?
I'm just smiling.
I'm looking over at Art to see what face he's making.
I feel the stare. So I'm just smiling
I
and
just
waving.
looked over. I wasn't staring at you.
I know. I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
Smile and wave, boys.
Pero no, Moises, like, you saying, like, sources. Like, did you start watching, like, YouTube videos? What type of sources did you?
Yeah, it was everything. Like, I from the moment I woke up to the moment I went to sleep, an AirPod was in my ear. Listening, reading, whatever it may be. Like, that moment... or that period of time, I was just consuming. I was a sponge with all these things.
Wow.
As far as, and then I would talk to her a bunch, like, oh babe, I heard this in the podcast. Oh, I read this in the book. Or this happened to this person, and this is why. Do you think it applies to us because this happened in our life? Do you think it was because of this in our past?
Wow.
So, yeah, I very much applied it to me first, and our relationship as well.
Okay.
And through being able to develop a practice as well, I started getting to know other psychologists as well and getting to learn from them what their experience has been in the field as to what works and what doesn't. And that's where I got a lot of confirmation from God, because I couldn't, it's not like I could go like, hey, can you confirm this for me?
Right.
That those people came to me and they confirmed like, oh yeah, okay.
Wow.
God is confirming that what I'm doing and how I'm doing it is right for the time right now.
Okay. That's awesome.
Dang.
And how did you feel? Thank you for sharing. Brenda, how did you feel like when he would talk to you, or when you would see him like observing all his knowledge and him telling you these things?
I was like,
honestly.
When he went through this whole depression, and he started realizing, I'm depressed, I have a porn addiction, this and that. He quit his job, right? At the time we had three kids.
Yep.
I was a stay-at-home mom, right? I'm like, what are you doing? He's like, like we talked about it, and he's like, okay, I'm gonna wait. But then like he quit.
Wow.
And then he's like, I just have to. He's like, I can't stay there with, like, it's affecting me. And I was like, okay, like, I don't want a husband who's, gonna be depressed and anxious and be around our kids and feeding all this to them, right? So I was like, okay, what are you gonna do? What are we gonna do? Yeah. Do I need to go get a job, or...
Right, yeah.
Do you have some
valid questions?
Because at that point, she hadn't healed. I hadn't healed yet, and she hadn't healed yet. So all those traumas of like, oh, now I'm going to be the one to provide. Now I have to figure out how to survive.
Here we go.
Oh,
God is punishing me.
There it is, you said.
There it is. It took this long.
Wow.
I was like, whoa, okay, what's going on? Yeah. So it was really like, it hit hard. I was like, what? And I still didn't know why I was doing this, or why I was so scared, or like, so and then he started explaining, and I'm like, okay, but it takes a lot for me to trust. And at that time, I hadn't learned to give it to God. I hadn't learned to let go. I was trying to take control of our life.
Yeah.
And design it when it wasn't up to me.
Wow, that's good.
Yeah.
So he was just doing what he does, not listen to me and leading.
And here's one thing about healing and going through a healing process, especially as a couple. It's gonna come with a bunch of tough and hard conversations, because you're going to be vulnerable with your spouse. So talking about me having a porn addiction, I had to come open to her. Like, hey, for the longest time, you didn't know this, but I had a porn addiction. And you can't come to that with ego. You can't come to that with pride and say, like, don't make this about you. Because you're about to I was about to break her heart. And I did.
And he did.
Yeah.
And I wasn't like, I knew it. Because, of course, I had been trying to, be like, he's too perfect. I was like, oh my God. What am I going to do?
Wow.
What's going to happen?
That was a tough moment because I knew that I was going to break her heart.
Mm-hmm.
I also knew that I couldn't be like, well, I'm the one that's affected here. I couldn't play victim. Right? And a lot of men struggle with being vulnerable and open with their spouse. And I think it's because they're looking to get something from their spouse. That open space, which is good that your spouse does need to learn how to hold space for you. However, you need to teach your spouse how to hold space for you. And I had no idea how to do that until I learned to hold space for myself. And by that time I was like, okay, well, I know up to it. I know how to hold space for me. So now it's my turn to be there for her when I'm about to tell her this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because I'm not gonna lie, he had told me before. Okay, he had.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't even know he had because I brushed it off.
Oh, wow.
Because, again, growing up with machos, hey, it's normal. Every guy does it. It's okay. It's part of, that's what they need. Or it was like natural.
Wow.
Right? I was brought up like, it's okay. Men do what they do. And that's just what they do.
Oh, wow.
Right? Mm-hmm. So when he had told me at first, I brushed it off. I was like, it's no problem. Like, we didn't talk about it because we hadn't gone through that part of our relationship where we were like always talking about things. But I was like, it's fine. Doesn't matter. Doesn't affect me. So I thought, like, it doesn't affect our relationship. It's just something men do. But then here we go through, well, here he goes through all this learning and, days and days and days and days of listening and learning and reading. And it was like he was a college student at home. Like, I swear to you, like, it was book after book after podcast after video after.
Wow.
Like, he was literally like a college student. And I would call you that, right? Like, you're like a college student. Like, here's your lunch.
Little brown deli bag.
Did you drink water?
My ramen.
No. But then when he explained to me, listen, like, this is affecting me personally. And then he told me, and I felt betrayed, right? I was like, even though he had already told me, I was like, our whole relationship has been like a lie. Right? Like, you've told me that you love me, and like, here we go. I don't deserve you. I don't deserve a good man. So it was hard. It was so hard.
I bet.
But it was, I think it was like one of the moments that made us so strong.
Yeah, it was one of those like bittersweet moments because after going through, like, she had a breakdown, and I had to be there for her, even though I also felt guilt and shame over putting her through this as well. Like, it's my fault kind of thing. But I knew that I couldn't put that on her and be like, again, play victim. I knew that I had to be there for her. And her, by her own accord, which is something that she wouldn't do normally before this, she came to me and said, I'm sorry I was never there for you.
Wow.
And I was like, whoa. So it was a moment of growth because I told her, like, during those dark times, like, you were the light that I was pulling through. Like, you're the reason why I wanted to overcome this. Wow. So I don't think that you were never there for me because even though you didn't hold space for me, you were still there to be the light and my motivation to guide me to get out of here, get out of this darkness.
But awesome. It's funny because he taught me that.
Yeah.
Wow.
You see, like, it's like a whole, he taught me to, because I was that type of person that I didn't really, like, you tell me something, I'm like, you're playing victim. Why are you being a victim?
Mm.
I couldn't have sympathy for anybody because I'm like, I've been through worse. Super narcissist, like, seriously. He taught me to be like, he would always be like, show some grace.
Well,
Or like, like, God gives you grace, right? It's okay. So I had to start learning to put myself in his shoes. So then at that moment, after I had the breakdown and I was like, man, then I was like, wait, he tells me to put myself in his shoes. Okay, let me do that. I put myself in his shoes as much as I can because I'm a woman. Obviously, there's no way, right?
Right.
So I was like, if I was having this addiction as a man and I go to my wife and she can't be there for me, I'm here by myself. The person that I love can't. I'm like, oh my God, he had to go through this by himself.
Wow, that's good.
He had a dragon at home while he was still battling that demon. He had, like, obviously he has God, right? But I'm like, I should be there for him too.
Yeah.
Like, we always talk about we're in it together against the problem. Right? Like, it's you and I against the issue. And here I am being part of the issue. It's like, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry that you had to go through this by yourself. That I wasn't there for you like I said I was when we got married. When we made a commitment to each other that we were going to be there for each other, I wasn't there. But he was the one that taught me to be there.
Wow.
not for him, but for other people. Like, he would always be like, wow, look at their perspective. And I'm like, are you serious?
Right. Hey, but I mean, also give yourself credit too, because he could have taught you, but would you have want to learn from it and put it into action?
Yeah.
Because someone can be easily, pues sí, me dijo, and so what? That's his problem. Like, you know what I mean? So that's good. Give yourself.
Yeah. I mean, I've learned to grow. Because, like he said, like, I've been his hardest client. And he only deals with men, but there's, because we've had sessions. He's given me sessions where we talk about things, and I'm like, I can't stand you right now. I love you so much, but please stop talking.
Yeah. Because
it's hard for me to understand that I like what I'm doing or to be wrong. Like, you're so right. I don't like it.
Yeah. Through my learning, I heard that if you like your therapist, then that's a wrong therapist for you.
Oof. Yeah. Yeah, that's true.
I didn't like him as my coach and my leader, but I trusted him. I trusted him because he let God lead him.
Yeah.
When he was letting other men lead him, it was really hard to trust him.
Oof.
Because I didn't trust those men. How can I trust my husband that's being led by those men?
That's good.
But I trusted God always. Even through what I went through, I never blamed him. I never said, oh, you put me through this.
Right.
I don't know. I mean, I think it was from my grandmother teaching me, But when he started letting God lead him, because we started praying together out loud, like praying together always, just seeing him being led by God, I was like, wow, I can trust him. Because there's no way God's gonna send him through the wrong path or,
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, I'm letting go.
Wow.
Let's go, roller coaster.
Wow. That takes a lot. I mean, for you to give up that control, and let God lead the way. That's something that I'm still struggling with.
Still, yeah. I mean, it's a daily battle.
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah,
there's
that's true.
days that I'm like, yeah, and then there's like, I know. I can't.
Yeah.
There's a saying that I read recently that said, the areas in your life that you want to control the most is where you trust God the least.
Mm.
And I want to take just a quick pause to speak to all the women or men where your spouse had a porn addiction. Don't take it personal because it's not about you. I can guarantee it. Also, former porn addict myself. I think the first time I saw porn, it was probably like 9 years old ish. Recently, I remembered my subconscious mind was blocking this, and I think this is the first time I'm going to say it on this podcast. I was sexually abused when I was a little boy, by a cousin. And it made me wonder. It made me curious of why was I addicted to porn. You know, my first knee-jerk reaction is like, because I liked it, because it was good. You know, I liked the way it felt. I liked seeing those images. You know, like little 9-year-old kid runs into a stack of Playboys that his dad was hiding behind a shed. Man, let's go. You know. My homies from elementary, guys, you need to check this out. I hit the gold mine. And, you know, just going at it, man. And then I find VHS tapes that my dad was hiding in the closet. No, hombre, pues, you know.
The most popular kid in school.
Well, no, like, you know, I couldn't invite my friends or whatever, but because I was too young at that time. But, you know, if I was home alone, oh, forget it. I knew exactly where to find them, and, you know, just seeing it, I'm a little kid. So, you know, I would say by like 11, 12, you know, it was just something that I like really enjoyed. That had nothing to do with nothing. Like, it's just something that you like to do, you know? So by the time I was 18, 19, it was already like a full blown addiction. And then I get a job at this place called Major Players. It was like a Blockbuster, but there was a red room section that
you were the manager there.
Yeah. You know, to be blunt, having to check those out and, you know, getting them returned always kind of gave me the creeps, because we all, no one watches porn and eats
just
popcorn.
Yeah.
So it's like, yeah, dude, like I wanted to wear latex gloves every time I'd have to check it into the back and put it on the shelf and stuff. Yeah. So yeah, like that didn't help. You know, that only fed my addiction even more. So, as someone that battled that, ladies or guys, like, don't take it personal. It's not about you. It's not, oh, well, am I not enough? Am I not pretty enough? Am I not attractive enough? It has nothing to do with you. Literally nothing. It's just like a trigger. It's just, I mean, I don't know, Mo, if you want to jump in here at any time, man, but like for me, it's just a thought. Boom.
Yep.
It's just it just out of the blue, it hits you. Boom, an urge.
Yeah, it's one of those things that as men, we have a high sex drive.
Yeah.
Or it tends to be higher. So the natural thing to satisfy that is
porn.
Masturbation.
Yeah.
Yeah. And when you look for it through when you look to fill a need, and you look through your wife, but maybe it's not the right time or whatever it may be, and you're so stressed and you just want a relief, right? There's various things, alcohol, cigarettes, whatever, maybe drugs. But if you have a high sex drive, then it's pornography.
Yeah.
You go to it. And for mine, it was that desire to feel wanted. To feel wanted. Didn't matter who. It's just feeling desired.
Dude,
That's what I tell my wife all the time.
I honor you, man, and I respect you so much for that. Because not a lot of guys are willing to admit it.
No.
Me, I'm going to start going to therapy because I cannot identify the trigger yet. So, you know, I'm sure my future therapist, God will put the perfect therapist in my life, will help me identify what the trigger is. Because I've been very curious about that. Like, why? You know, not in a, like you said, I love the way you phrased it. It's, I'm not being critical of myself. I'm curious. So I am curious, like, what were the triggers? Was it that I was sad? Was it when I was mad? Was it when I got in a fight with Natalie? Was it, you know, just the feeling and you saying I wanted to feel wanted, you know, with the whole dad thing and everything? Dude, like, this is, we can go down the rabbit hole through this.
Yeah.
And I'm very much looking forward to it. And the enemy knows where to attack you. And so I don't consider myself 100% safe. I would be a hypocrite sitting here recording this with you guys to tell you, like, oh, I'm 100% safe. Like, you know, I can never fall. Well, yeah, so did dozens and dozens and dozens of pastors out in the world. And yet, there you go. You're reading a story about ex-pastor from a mega church caught in adultery, caught, you know, doing this, doing even things with children. Like, there's a whole thing, and it's so sad. But I digress. I'm looking forward to finding what the triggers were. I have on my phone an app called Covenant Eyes that does not allow me to watch porn. I installed it on my laptop. I have it on my phone. I cannot watch that stuff. So even if the enemy wants to tempt me again, I can't. Like, I literally can't. Because it takes screenshots of whatever I'm looking for. It knows what I Google. And it sends it to my accountability partner, who happens to be my pastor. So it's like, you know, I feel safe in that regard. However, my flesh still needs healing. And I need to go back and identify those triggers, bring them to the light, so that they no longer have that hold against me. You know, a lot of people, and quick side note for you hyper religious Bible thumpers. Well, you know, aren't you worship leader? Aren't you, you know, don't you believe in a God that heals, you know, everything and does miracles and stuff? Yeah, dude. But we're mind, body, and soul. And, you know, it's like if I get shot in the leg, I'm probably going to want to go to the hospital. I need some intervention here to stop the bleeding. I'm not just going to, oh, Lord, please close this bullet wound right now, you know, and bleed out. You know, it's like you need intervention sometimes. So if you need it for the physical, you need it for the mental. You know, just like there's a physical doctor for physical things, there are mental healers or mental doctors for mental things. And the spiritual, obviously, you know, you go to God. So anyway, kudos to you guys, man, for your vulnerability and your transparency. Applaud it. You know, I applaud it. And I know everyone that's listening is like probably clapping in the car right now. If you guys see someone driving down a freeway and they're clapping in the car, they're probably listening to this podcast.
Yeah, and to add to what you mentioned, the triggers, I don't think it's a specific trigger, because it can literally be just your sex drive and wanting to feel it. It's so many there's so many, like I mentioned earlier, your traumas, your past, so many things that happen in your life that can be the trigger. And I think it's a matter knowing that so many people, like pastors, priests, people who are very devoted to God, are still falling to this. I think maybe I may be wrong about this, because there's no research behind it, but it could be the fact that they're living on a facade that I'm not going to struggle with it. So again, they're ignoring the weeds, and it's fermenting instead of acknowledging the weeds and be like, hey God, like, this is what I'm struggling with. And because again, I still get tempted. I still have a sex drive.
Right.
It's not like it went away. So,
Right.
and I still
We're human.
need to feel it. I still need to feel that need. But whenever I feel tempted to do any sort of thing, I come to her now. I let her know, and she knows when I'm struggling with it because because I'm fighting it, I get all tense and like, leave me alone. I'm fighting something right now. But at least she's there for me. Like she's there to give me the space that I need, but also the accountability to not go through such things because it is full of it, especially right now with the internet and a lot of sites are free and people are willingly to just put it out there. I'm like, yeah, we need God more than ever through all of
And like I said, whenever you're aware of something, I think it tends to like
attack you more.
And the good thing about me knowing, right? Not only can I be there for him, but I tell him, okay, I'm gonna pray. Okay, you need to talk to God. Okay, let's try to figure something out. What can I do? You know what? And not I'm not gonna say like in a physical way, right? But what can I do to help you tackle this together? You and I against the issue again. It's always you and I against the issue because I don't want him to go through it alone.
Yeah, I've learned to not fall into the facade that I'm done healing or that I've arrived.
Right.
Yeah.
Like it could happen. Constantly. God forbid, right? I'm doing everything in my power to prevent it. Just like we don't live under the facade that we are not divorceable or unbreakable. But we do everything in our power to prevent that from happening.
Yeah.
Right? It's the same thing with the temptation. Like I know I can break. I know the devil's gonna try to put me in a place or take advantage of a place that I'm in to feed me something. And I need to be strong enough to not fall for it.
Yeah. Right. Dude, and don't sit there and judge someone that's struggling with this type of addiction because there's all kinds of addictions. Some of y'all are addicted to
everything,
including binging. No, like some of you all are addicted to binging a Netflix series. Some of y'all can literally spend 24 hours on the couch binging a show because you're avoiding the reality of your life, and it's an escape. Some of y'all are addicted to food, and you go to a buffet to fill, and it's a hole that will never be filled, but you're trying to fill it with food. Some of y'all are addicted to cigarettes. Some of y'all are addicted to anger. Some of y'all are addicted to manipulation, and you're so good at manipulating people. Like some of y'all are addicted to drama. Yeah, and you're the chisme person, and you're the one spreading rumors, and you're like, there is so many things.
Right.
But just because we actually have the guts to bring it out to the light and to say, hey, I'm human and I'm struggling with this. Don't put you on, I'm talking to, if you're listening, I'm talking to you. Don't put on your little black judge robe and, all of a sudden you think you're better than people. Because I guarantee you, if we dig deep enough, you got some skeletons in the closet too. Just, you don't have the fortitude to talk about it. So I'm gonna just get off my soapbox and just.
Well, that brought up a thought of like how many churches would be better off if their pastors came out before they did the act to say like, hey, I'm being tempted right now.
Yeah,
and I need my community to help me out. Pray
for me, man. Like, walk with me.
Yeah.
Bro, come on. Come on, dude. I heard this at a men's conference or whatever. The guy, they passed out blindfolds. And everyone had to put it on. All the men. It's a men's conference. All the men have to put it on to make sure that no one can see. Right? So once the guy on stage made sure everybody has their blindfolds on. Everybody. Okay. Everyone's blindfolded and no one can see you. Right? Raise your hand if you are battling with porn right now. Right? 90% of the room rose their hand. So he goes, raise your hand if you're battling. Couple pause. Okay. Put your hand down. Everyone has their hand down. Okay. Take your blindfolds off. Okay. No one saw who raised their hand and who didn't raise their hand. But I could tell you right now, 90% of you are struggling with porn.
Wow.
It's a real thing, guys.
Yep.
Like this thing, scientifically, biologically speaking, your brain does shift. There is a neuroplasticity that happens with your brain that it looks like. I mean, well, if your porn addiction is really bad, it looks like a drug addict's brain. Literally.
Yeah, you're
altered.
Traumatizing yourself.
Right. You're going for that quick dopamine hit, you know, and then your brain starts literally changing. You start desensitizing yourself to where now you can't even be aroused normally. Like it's something that you need. And here's a fun fact. See, Natalie and I like también. Natalie and I like to watch like crime series, you know, like true crimes and, you know, things like 48 Hours and
CSI,
all that kind of stuff. So there was I forgot which one it is now. Netflix is full of them. Pick one. I don't know.
All of them.
Dahmer. I don't know which one it was, man. But that when they interviewed one of the serial killers,
Ted Bundy.
Maybe Ted Bundy.
Yeah, I think it was Ted Bundy. Yep.
They said like, okay, like if you could go back in time, what would you say started you on this murder, you know, rampage or whatever? And the guy's like, I would have never started to watch porn. Porn opened the door.
Yeah, and I thank God that He put me in the life that He did, because it wasn't because I became a father, became a husband, and it was just me on my own. I know that I could have been one of those men easily. Really? Like it's not lost on me that He literally saved me. Because anybody, because you don't know. It's not like that person grew up. It's not like Ted Bundy grew up like, oh, I'm going to become a porn addict and murder girls and do all these acts. It's very much a condition. Like I joke about this to my son because he's a gamer and he calls the people that he plays with old men in mom's basement, 40 old men in mom's basement. And I tell him like, dude, he didn't become a 40 old man in mom's basement in one day. He became that person one day at a time. He was a 21-year-old and just every day he decided not to get out of that basement, and now he's 40. So same thing with addictions. It's a conditioning where if you don't break it and you don't find a way out of it, then you find yourself stuck with it.
Well,
so I'm going to assume here, but I'm sure a lot of your clients, that's a battle for them.
Yeah, it's a battle for them. They it's not like they come to me with that battle. A lot of people, when they start seeking help, it's for very surface level stuff, like struggling with my relationship. The communication is not good. I know that mentally I'm not good and stuff like that. And then when they come to me, that's when I'm like, okay, let's go ahead and unpeel the layers of the onion that you are, because there's so many layers to it. And it's not like I go right through, like go for the jugular. It's very much like, okay, well, tell me your issue. Like, okay, well, where do you think that's coming from? Like, all right, cool. Tell me your story. How did you feel when you were doing that? Where do you think that led you to? Oh, is that why you were acting this way towards your spouse? So it's very much leading them down the path of allowing them to be curious about themselves, and then me just leading them through it. That's basically what it is.
How did you start that, Moi? That's amazing. I love the work that you're doing. Which, by the way, do you want to take time to, let our listeners know what you're all about, what your website is, what your podcast is?
Well, I guess my tags online are MentallyStrongMan. Right now, I'm focused on just on men because that's what God is calling me to do right now.
Love it.
I'm sure later on it's going to be couples and women and the world later on. But God told me if you try to help everybody, you're not going to help anybody. So He called me to lead men because
here we are.
Yeah.
And I think sorry to interrupt. I think that's where the devil attacks first, the head of the house, like the head of the house.
So. And then I was like very for it because I think it's very hard for men to go to therapy.
Yeah.
It's like pushy. So it's like, well, if you had another option that it's not called therapy, but it'll help you bring it out. And then eventually you want to go to therapy, then you're more open to it, right?
Right.
Instead of going like straight to therapy and then you're like closed off. And then you're like, oh, it doesn't work. Well, yeah, of course, because you're not letting it. It doesn't work for everybody because. So I'm like, yeah, like please, like
that's good.
Our men need it.
Yeah, because I found that, and I even interviewed a therapist, or like I had a podcast with a therapist where she even found herself saying like a lot of therapist stuff doesn't really work long term. It's very much the way she put it is very much trauma focused. It's like, let's dig everything out of the basement that you're hiding everything in, every single little thing. And to me, it was like, no, well, you don't necessarily need to dig everything out. It's just the things that are affecting you, the things that are literally affecting your life right now. Because, and I give this example of a bullying. Like, yeah, I was bullied, but that didn't affect me to the point where it's crippling my life right now. It's affecting my relationship. That's not the source. So, yeah, bully was traumatic and it's part of my baggage. However, it's not affecting my life. It's like 0.8% of its effect. But if you have something that is affecting 80% of your life or majority of your life, then you need to address it. You need to deal with it. And the approach that I take is not very therapeutic. Some people will call it therapeutic, but not, I guess, normal therapy. Is very much just a brother talking to a brother. It's like, hey, dude, like, I'm struggling with my spouse. Like, oh, yeah, man. How's that going? Like, oh, well, she's doing this, she's doing that. And okay, well, how does that make you feel? Where do you think that's coming from? Why do you want to be a better man in the first place? Because you need to have a reason.
Right.
You can't just want to be a better man for the heck of it. Like, what's the reason? Like, what are you trying to accomplish? What are you running away from? If you are running away, or what are you running towards? And it's just me telling relatable stories with them, letting them know, like, hey, I went through that with my spouse. This is how we dealt with it. Go ahead and try it for yourself as well. Because it worked for me. I've seen it work for other clients as well. It might work for you too. And I also I'm not like I know I'm not going to be their last coach or therapist. I also lead them like, hey, I was just part of this phase of your life, dude. You're going to need somebody else to lead you again. So I also kind of propel that growth process forward once they're finished with my program, to let them know, like, hey, you're going to go through stuff from here on out, and you need to be able to be vulnerable and be the man enough to be like, I need help, to extend your hand and reach out for it.
Yeah.
So I teach them to do that as well.
Which begs the emphasis that all men who have the courage and to admit that they need help is already 90% of the battle. Because I can't tell you how many guys are so afraid to look like they're wrong that they never ask for help. They never get help, and their entire family suffers because of their narcissism.
Yep.
Because they do not, Lord forbid, they admit that they're wrong.
Yeah.
Ooh, I mean, no way, Jose. I cannot be wrong ever. So guys, I really pray, man, that you can get to a spot to admit, whether it's porn or alcohol or weed or whatever your vice is, whether it's Netflix, whether it's 10 hours of YouTube a day, you're numbing something, right? Yeah. There's a vice. And I pray that you get to a point where you know what, man, this isn't normal. Let me be curious, like Moise said. Don't be critical. Criticizing yourself and having shame. First of all, shame does not come from God. Second, the devil will use everything in his power against you and lie to your face and lie in your ear to keep you away from Jesus. Yeah. So bring it out into the light, man. Say, hey, you know what? this isn't right, man. Like, maybe you're, like you said, that 40-year-old gamer in the basement with no life, just, being a mantenido or, at home with mom or whatever. Like, get help.
Yep.
It's okay. Because none of us are perfect. I think if all guys or all people lost their ability to lie and everyone was 100% truthful, like liar, liar, for a week, for 48 hours, you would realize, dude, that all guys only seem to have it together.
Yep.
No.
But I would dare to say 90-ish% of men have a broken little boy inside.
Yep.
Ish. And there are what's the word I'm looking for? There are symptoms in men's lives that point to that broken little kid that never had therapy, never talked about it. They went through something, but everyone around you suffering, man.
Yeah.
So get help.
Yeah, the way that I describe it is if you don't deal with the mental struggles that you're going through, then you're gonna remain that little boy crawled up in the corner in a dark room, afraid to step into the darkness, knowing that it's going to lead into your light. You're gonna stay there, little, like you mentioned, a little boy. And that's what it is. It's a lot of men stay little boys in adult bodies because they're still fighting everything that they went through as little kids,
unknowingly.
And
it's not like, we're making the conscious decision of like, no, I'm going to stay this way.
Yeah.
I'm going to make my wife miserable. I'm going to make sure my kids don't like me. Like, it's not like we're doing it on purpose. I'm sure it's unconscious.
Yep.
And just like there are men, I mean, there's women too that, también, they are going through that.
Yeah, I helped my wife look at herself as a little girl. For the first time in a long time.
It was so hard.
Oh, I bet.
It was so hard. It was a picture of my family, like my parents and my siblings. When my parents were together, I don't know, I was maybe like 6, right? It looked like 6. I don't know. But before that day, I looked at the picture and I never looked at that little girl like it was me. It was just some little girl.
Wow.
And when I saw it that day, I looked at oh my goodness. I was like, that's me. And I cried and I cried and I cried.
Yeah, it was a special moment. Like she cried because she was finally acknowledging that little girl that was in her. But me seeing her do that, I cried too. Because I was like, wow, I see you flourishing after this. I see you acknowledging. I see you giving yourself what I always wanted to give you.
Well,
that I wouldn't take.
I'm going to cry now. Yeah, that broken little girl or little boy is in there. And
it's always going to be part of you. That's another thing that 30 years from now, this version of us is always going to stick with us. And the little kids that we were, it's always going to be there. And a lot of people would try to ignore them. And that's what causes a lot more pain. They try to run away from them. They try to bury them as much as possible when all that little kid wants is the same thing that they wanted at the beginning, which was love. To be loved.
Yeah.
What comes to mind, man, and, we can wrap up here, but the visual that came to mind is if you guys have never seen the movie Seven. It's an older movie, 90s, with Brad Pitt and Morgan Freeman. What's in the box? Amazing movie. Awesome movie, man. One of my favorite movies. Thriller, suspense.
Very disturbing.
Very disturbing because this is a serial killer movie.
Yeah.
But it's an awesome movie. Highly recommend it. Oh, and what's his face? Spacey, Kevin Spacey.
Which we do not recommend.
Which we, the dude, yeah. But okay, let's go back to the movie. What came to mind as you were talking, guys, is the scene. There's a scene in the movie where there's a dead body in an apartment, and it reeks. And then when they walk into the bedroom where the body's lying, there are literally hundreds of the little pine trees that are scented. Like the little pine trees that you hang in your car.
Yep.
The air fresheners. Literally hundreds of them stapled to the ceiling. Trying to conceal the smell from the neighbors and stuff like that. That's kind of like what ignoring your, childhood traumas and stuff looks like and feels like. It reeks in your house, aka your body. And instead of getting rid of the dead body and bringing it out into the light, you're just filling yourself up with air fresheners, pretending that it's not there. And you're used to the smell at this point. And everyone around you can smell that there's something weird. But you're just sitting there lying to yourself, think like, nah. One more air freshener. One more. And you pile them on. And before you know it, your ceiling is full of air fresheners. But the dead body's there. Reeking.
And it's funny that you mentioned that movie, because I know it's about the 7 Deadly Sins.
Oh, yeah.
And how, like you mentioned, that like the trauma, it's people can smell it, right? They don't know what it is, but it's just like, it reeks in here.
Yeah.
And if you don't address it, it's going to affect other people. So like in the movie, like in the end, the last sin was wrath. Because the detective ended up
having wrath
against
the murder. Rightfully so. But yeah, anyway.
It bleeds onto other people.
Yeah, it bleeds onto other people. I heard a quote that if you heal a man, you heal a family. If you heal a family, you help heal a country.
Yeah.
Wow.
Come on now.
That's true.
Which we need right now.
Oh my gosh. Dude, just think, man, if you said it, dude. You said it. Like if we can fix one man at a time, one marriage at a time, which was our goal when we started the podcast. If we can help just one couple, right? Stop arguing and prevent divorce. And have an actual happy marriage and point them to Jesus, we did our job. Because think about the generational impact. Now their kids will know God. Now their kids will know what happy marriages look like. They'll repeat. And they'll teach their kids and they'll teach their kids' kids, etc. So just think about that ripple effect, right? Helping men. I love that, man. So Mentally Strong Man, Moy is wearing his t-shirt. Representing. Repping. Can they find, where can people find you, man? Are you on IG? Are you on Spotify?
Instagram, anywhere that you find podcast, I guess. Because we use one platform and it just distributes it everywhere.
Oh, nice.
Facebook, yeah.
And it's just all one word, Mentally Strong Man?
Mentally Strong Man, yep.
Nice. So give them a follow, guys. Check out, their content. Awesome stuff. And we're going to wrap up the episode with some fun, random questions.
Let's go.
What?
Yeah, you guys have to answer them super quick.
Yeah, you have 5 seconds to answer. So
I can't process that
I'm
fast.
a deep person.
Okay.
I can't.
Let me
Just
pull up these questions. So
knee jerk.
don't butcher it.
All right. You ready?
No.
You go first.
All right, I'll go first.
Oh, yeah.
And this question is for both of you. Just answer like separate, not at the same time.
Oh, okay.
All right.
You first.
Chin Chan Fu.
All right, ready? Favorite comedy movie?
You go first.
I don't know if it's a comedy, but my favorite is 50 First Dates.
Okay.
That is a comedy.
Yeah.
Is it? Okay.
Favorite comedy. I guess mine would be Superbad.
Okay, nice.
Mike, okay. If you can travel anywhere in the world for dinner, where would you want to go?
Japan.
For dinner.
Japan. Okay.
I've always wanted noodles
From Japan.
from Japan.
Oh, yeah,
That's
for
always
sure.
been my thing.
Nice.
I guess for me it would be Mexico.
Anywhere in specific?
I guess Mexico City. I always wanted to go to Tulum just because it's really nice, but I guess because I like Mexican. So to Tulum.
Burritos de frijoles. Nice. Nice. I
I'll
like
make
it.
them at home.
All right. This is a yes or no question.
Okay.
Pineapple on pizza.
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
Nope.
And the house is divided right here.
Team. Hey, you like pineapple on
I'm
pizza?
team pineapple, yeah.
Me too. You're out. Sorry.
Yeah, we never order it. I only eat it when we go to like pizza buffet or something.
Okay.
Nice.
Cool.
That's where we compromise.
Nice.
What's the biggest risk you've taken?
Marrying her.
Aw.
Yeah.
It's marriage.
It's like they say, loving or allowing someone to love you, or allowing someone to love you is like giving them the knowledge that they can hurt you and trusting them that they won't.
Mm,
So that's the biggest risk.
nice.
Yeah.
All right.
Same.
Oh,
Ready?
thank you guys.
Right.
DC or Marvel?
Marvel.
I thought you were going to say Washington, D.C. or something.
Yeah, me too. I was like, wait, what?
D.C.
I mean, I have to go with Marvel, but I'm a Batman girl, so
Okay. Okay.
Nice.
Okay.
it's weird.
Like the old school Batman?
Yeah. Old
Okay.
school Batman. I don't know why, but I know why now. But we're Marvel people.
Love it.
I'm still her
Yes.
Batman though.
Oh, snap.
Even though he dresses like Spider-Man.
Oh, hey, no
I
joke.
learned
Hey,
to
that's
like
the little kid in me,
Spider-Man.
okay?
Yeah.
It
Hey,
is.
whatever it takes, man. Whatever it takes. Happy marriages.
Yes.
Natalie likes when I wear the Superman costume,
Ay,
minus the cape,
minus the kid.
just the red calzones. Anyway,
Oh my God.
go for it.
Okay. Kent Clark. Or what's his name? Clark?
Clark Kent.
Clark.
Yeah, Clark Kent.
Yes.
Favorite song?
Favorite song. What's you know what? One that I've really listened to a lot is called Mama by NF. I don't know if you've ever listened to it, but that song excuse me. That song makes me cry all the time out of joy
Mm.
and sadness at the same time. So quick story, he lost his mom to drug addiction. But in that story, it's like all about him healing. Like, and he talks about like, he starts off, did you ever make it up to the gate? And if you did, I wonder if it's a beautiful place.
Mm.
Did he put his arms around you and make you feel like you're safe? And that, oh my God, I'm about to be emotional. Just picturing you meeting God and just everything just falling
Mm.
and you feeling love and peace and joy, and her getting to experience that because I'm sure that she went through some past traumas
Oh, yeah.
as well that led her to passing away over overdose. But just picturing you like meeting God and yeah, like everything falling, and also the rest of the song is him forgiving mom. Like, you're always gonna be loved. You're always gonna be mama.
Wow.
So save a table for 4 once I go up there. I'm like, wow,
And you said
So
it
that's-
was called
mama.
Mama.
By NF.
Mhm.
Nancy Frank.
No.
No, like if you're listening, you know what I mean? Like, right?
Oh, okay.
Is that the
Like N for
the
Nancy.
letter N,
F.
the letter F?
Yeah.
Yeah,
No,
that's what I'm saying.
You're like,
I thought you were
that's
saying
not
that.
Liz.
That's not the artist.
I'm phonetically letting y'all know that you guys are welcome.
N for Nancy.
N for Nancy,
F for
F
Frank.
for Frank.
There we go.
Yeah. See, we talk on the phone a lot with our
Yeah.
clients, so we have to, you know.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
One more, Mama?
What's your favorite song?
Yeah, favorite song. Yes.
Uh,
I know
You-
it took longer, but
No,
You guys
thank
will-
you.
Probably won't even know it, but I think
Sopa de caracol.
no.
Hey, that one's cool. I love it.
It's a
Du
joke.
hast by Rammstein. Hey.
Right?
Orale.
I think I love the Miss Rachel song.
Miss Rich.
No, Miss Rachel. It's because
No.
you don't have little kids.
Miss Rich.
Miss Rachel is I think she's like a speech therapist, and she started creating videos for kids on YouTube to help them with their speech.
Oh, wow.
But there's this song called, I don't know what it's called, but it's like, I'm so happy.
Oh, it's catchy.
So whenever I'm like, morning, we wake up, the girls are already being too much, I'm like, I'm so happy.
Aw.
I'm so
with
awesome.
tears coming down your face. I'm so happy.
Hey,
What if it rains?
Yeah.
No.
Oh,
Yeah, I
that's
guess
awesome.
That reminds, in a way of like, what's that? I don't know if it's a Bible. I think it's a Bible verse. Like, this is God created this day, and I will rejoice. Something like along those lines.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Love it, love it.
Thank you. That's awesome. Now I'm gonna have to look it up. What is
Look
Miss
it
Rachel?
up. Miss Rachel.
Miss Rachel.
She's so cool.
Nice.
She's like my.
She's our babysitter.
Yeah, she's our
Oh,
In-home babysitter
that's awesome.
Love it.
instead of Coco Melon.
Oh yeah, Coco Melon.
Man.
My nieces are. Yeah.
Switch them to Miss
Yeah.
Rachel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it the things that have come up recently with, like what they've shown?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, if you're, showing
Those
your kiddos Coco Melon, you got to be careful of everything.
You're
that
messing up their melon.
Yeah, dude. There's some stuff being pushed on these
Their brain,
children's
yeah.
shows that y'all need to be aware of.
Pay attention.
Pay attention to what's being
Yeah.
shown to your kids. FYI, and we'll just leave it at that.
Thank you guys.
Thank you
Of
guys
course.
so much for coming, man.
No, thank you.
Okay.
Thank you for
We
sharing.
I hope and
it.
pray to God that whoever listened to this podcast got something from it, whatever it needs to be,
For sure.
and you take it home and you continue watering it.
Yeah. Oh,
Thank you.
real quick, 30-second answer.
Mm-hmm.
Last question. What was your first impression of Natalie and Art?
What was my first impression of Natalie and Art when we first met you?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, I say eek for me
Why?
because I think I sometimes have a mean face.
Mm.
What's
A
that?
resting mean face.
Yes. So, anyway, please continue.
Did we hear you talk or just looking at you?
It's for you to answer. 60-second answer.
I guess to put it like brief, quiet, and loud.
Okay.
Oh, quiet and loud.
Quite enough.
I was like, I love them
Oh.
Oh.
because loud but funny,
Yeah.
quiet but sweet.
Mhm.
Oh.
I was like, oh,
Thank you.
Yeah. So you saying about the face, it was like no.
No? Okay. Cool. I get that a lot.
yeah. Oh, me
I do.
too. Like always, I've always gotten that since. Like,
Well.
like she's stuck up and
Right. It's,
nobody wanted to be my friend. I'm like,
Listen.
I want to be your friend.
I want to be your
I feel-
friend.
But thank you guys so much for having us and having a safe space.
Yep.
Oh, thank
Even
you
though
for
Allowing us
sharing.
to share
Yeah.
as well.
Thank you guys.
We just talk and talk and talk.
No, man, we could really keep going with this couple. We could keep going. There's a lot of history. Shoot, even before we even started recording, I think we were out there for probably an hour.
Yeah, there's
Just-
an unrecorded podcast.
It was an unrecorded, off the record, and it will never be shared because it's in confidence. That's how we roll.
Yes.
So thank you guys for coming, man. Make sure you check out Mentally Strong Men. We'll tag them in the post, and give them a shout out, show them some love. Be the light, guys. Matthew 5:14. Be brave, and we love you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.